Alrighty, I think we can get started. Everyone else will have to catch the recording. So welcome all to the inaugural session of the Parliament of the Sapien tribe. We welcome everyone. We will be kicking things off with opening statements and then going into the motions of Parliament. We'll be opening the floor for everyone who is attending today, and we'll conclude with closing statements. So, to kick things off, I'll hand it off to Rob. And Rob, feel free to go into introduction, what we're doing.
All right, thanks, Ankit. Well, as you might know, here we are launching a digital nation, and it's only appropriate to start with our Declaration of Sovereignty. So, the world is at a turning point, and we're faced with tremendous uncertainty in all directions. As the threats we face grow to existential proportions, the things we might turn to for support, our communities, our shared purpose, and even a shared reality have eroded from under us. If we are to have any hope of conquering the challenges ahead of us, we must first understand the problems that we face and how they are connected. These problems go to the very roots of society and its institutions, affecting every aspect of how we make decisions and live our lives. From the information we consume to the communities that give us meaning, from the careers to which we dedicate ourselves to the causes we invest in. At the first glance, these problems may seem unconnected, but as we delve deeper, it becomes clear that they share a common thread. A fundamental disconnect in how we engage in these systems and one of the deepest roots of human nature. The tribe. For tens of thousands of years, the tribe was the driving force behind human existence, dictating every aspect of how we lived our lives. As our tribes wandered across every corner of the globe, we found balance with nature and each other. We evolved alongside our tribes, and many of the unique things that would come to define our species, Homo sapiens, such as language and our ability to solve problems collaboratively, emerged from this inseparable interdependence between each of us and our tribes. As civilization emerged, the rules and incentives that drove our lives began to diverge from nature. As we gained the ability to move rivers and shape the world around us, the entire world became our domain at the expense of the ecosystems that had to contend with us. As society became larger and more complex, nature's grasp, that bond that had shackled us for so long, but had also held us in balance with the earth and all its diversity, further loosened. The industrial age and the discovery of fossil fuels severed once and for all any control that nature had over us. There was no climate too harsh, no sea too vast, no mountain too great to stop the relentless titan of industry, whose sword now rests at the throat of the earth who gave us life. Just as technology has collectively liberated us from nature's grasp, so too has it liberated each of us from our dependence on one another. The relentless progress of technology has lifted countless people out of poverty and given each of us great control and freedom over how we live our lives. It has enabled us to fulfill our desires with the click of a button and at a moment's notice. It has given us the ability to travel the world, to have any experience we can imagine. It has put the sum of human knowledge in the palm of our hand and given us the power to share it across the world. With such incredible freedoms at our disposal, we no longer depend on those around us for basic necessities, for information or entertainment, for meaning. And so the bonds of trust that forged our tribes and held them together have all but vanished before our eyes. At this pivotal moment in history, we were left with but a single choice. We can continue on our current trajectory and hand our fate to the Titan, or we can choose to claim our own fate. But this isn't a choice that we can make alone. If we are to claim our fate, we must do it together as sovereign tribes. equipped with the tools to shape our own destiny. And so it is that we, the sapiens, in order that we may secure the future of Earth and her children, declare our sovereignty and the sovereignty of our tribes. And in order to secure and maintain this sovereignty and flourishing of our tribes, we present the following rights, responsibilities, and principles that they may serve as a guiding light for all committed to the advancement of sapiens and their tribes. And the first, the right to community. Sapiens are a social species, evolved to live within communities. A sense of belonging and community is essential to human psychological and physiological well-being, and its absence is responsible for a host of psychological issues and mental illnesses among many members of our society. Therefore, we recognize that all sapiens have the right to community and that we, the sapien tribe, have a responsibility to assist sapiens in securing a community that they may feel this belonging that is in accordance with their natural needs. Second, the right to tribal sovereignty. The tribe is the fundamental social unit of sapiens, and it is the primary vehicle through which collective agency and autonomy is realized. We recognize that in order for sapiens to fully realize their autonomy, agency, and purpose, it is essential not only that they have these freedoms at the individual level, but also collectively in each of the tribes that they belong to. Sovereignty is the manifestation of the political will of a tribe, and any community with a shared culture and identity, regardless of their geographic separation, fits this qualification. We recognize that no tribe may deny the right to sovereignty to another tribe. And in order that tribes may secure this sovereignty, we recognize that they must have certain rights. First, the right to existence. Each tribe has the fundamental right to assert its own existence, and no tribe may interfere, restrict, or impose costs on the existence or recognition of existence of another tribe. Citizenship. Second, all tribes have the right to determine their own citizenship, and no tribe may interfere in the recognition and determination of the citizenship of another tribe. Third, assembly. All tribes have the right to physical assembly, and no tribe may restrict the ability of another tribe to assemble. All tribes must be able to safeguard their own security, and as such may require adherence to certain measures during the assembly of other tribes, but must make such provisions so that assembly can occur within a reasonable time frame. Fourth, collective property. All tribes have the right to collective ownership of property that shall not be superseded by the property rights of the individual. And lastly, the autonomy of transaction. We recognize that all tribes have the right to transact autonomously among themselves, and that no tribe may restrict, interfere, or impose costs on the internal transactions of another tribe. We recognize that all tribes have the right to create and manage their own currencies in order that they may exercise their collective economic sovereignty. Third, the right to a home. All sapiens have the right to a home where they may have shelter from the elements necessary to ensure their continued survival. In addition to individual shelter, sapiens have the right to live within an ecosystem where their survival is not continuously threatened by their environment or natural disaster. Fourth, the right to existence. All sapiens have the right to existence and the elements necessary to life, including access to food, water, clean air, and the ability to perform all necessary bodily functions. And sapiens have the right to access these resources within the necessary time frames when in public spaces, and tribes have the collective responsibility to ensure that these elements necessary for life are accessible. And fifth, the right to autonomy of body and mind. All sapiens have the right to autonomy of body and mind. And in order to fully exercise this autonomy, sapiens must have certain rights. First, freedom of movement. Sapiens have the right to move freely within public spaces as long as such movement is not of direct harm to the public or environment. Second, freedom of expression. Sapiens have the right to express their ideas and opinions publicly, including the right to use any publicly accessible media, information, and resources. And this right includes the right to speak publicly as well as to create content of any media. Third, freedom of belief. Sapiens have the right to freedom of belief and expression of belief in the form of worship, ritual, and access to objects of spiritual significance, individually and collectively. And no restrictions or requirements may be made on the recognition of beliefs or religions. Fourth, the autonomy of mind. Sapiens have the right to explore the states of consciousness that are available to them. And as such, they have the right to access and consume mind-altering substances in order that they may explore these states of consciousness. This right may only be restricted in the case of clear and undeniable evidence that such access would cause immediate public harm. And lastly, the autonomy of body. Sapiens have the right to exercise control over and modify their own bodies freely to the extent that such action does not cause immediate harm or injury to another person. And sapiens have the right to inaction or removal from situations that cause harm or distress to themselves. And that concludes the rights that we have established so far. This is going to be a living document, and we're going to rely on all of you to help contribute to this and refine this as we progress. And just want to thank everyone for being here. It's a great moment.
Thank you, Rob. That was amazing, man. I can't wait until this talk's on GitHub and people are gonna be submitting their PRs, and we can actually have genuine conversation around some of these rights that you propose. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to hearing what people have to say. So next we will be going into the motions of Parliament. There are three main motions that we'll be sharing today. I think they have been posted in advance in our Discord. But the first one is around procedure, right? The way that we're actually organizing the Parliament and how we go about that. So from a high level, Rob, do you want to just dive into some of the key points in terms of operating procedure?
You mind taking this one?
Sure. Let me pull that up. One sec. Okay, so going into the Parliament governance proposal. So of course the Parliament is core to the development and maintenance of the Sapien Nation. And in order to facilitate these productive discussions that lead to actionable outcomes, the Council is proposing the following procedure. So these parliamentary meetings will be held on a weekly basis. And we think this is a great cadence because it'll allow us enough time to think deeply about the core issues, potential proposals that are being posted in our community. And we can make sure that we're continuing to make tangible, concrete progress towards the nation's goals in a timely manner. These Parliament sessions will be recorded and posted within the Chamber of Sapiens. And the Parliament will start each meeting with an opening statement for each session. And then we will go into the motions of the Parliament, which will proceed right after the opening session. And then proposals can be submitted. Proposals can be submitted through Discord messages in one of the chambers of Parliament. And the decisions of these proposals will be stored using Snapshot. So for those who don't know, Snapshot is this really nice tool that can put some of our proposals on chain. So it'll actually reside on the blockchain. Following the presentation of the motions, the floor will be open. This will be an opportunity to open up discourse surrounding any of the prior motions. And at the end, of course, Parliament will proceed with the closing statements for each session. So that is the procedure proposal that we're proposing. And we look forward to getting people's feedback on that. Okay, and next, Rob, I believe we are going into the initial governance proposal itself and how we will be structuring the parliament. You want to go into that? Cool.
So, yeah, the initial proposal on the branches of the governance of the Sapien tribe. So, the purple paper presents a holistic analysis of the issues that we face as sapiens at a societal scale and identifies key dimensions of focus as nature, culture, and technology. And each of these is foundational to the human experience and must be deeply understood if we're to build a future that puts humans first. So, to this end, we propose the creation of 3 chambers: nature, culture, and technology within the Sapien Tribe Parliament. And each of these chambers will focus on analyzing, understanding, and clearly communicating topics of significance within their respective domains. These chambers will propose solutions to problems within their domains that can be addressed using the tools of the Sapien Tribe. Certain proposals will require approval by the Council, and the Council is formed by the founding members of the Sapien Tribe, being Ankit, myself, and Teja. And we will lead this tribe for the time being, and will lay the foundations needed for this tribe to grow and flourish and build the culture that will lead the Sapien Tribe into the future. And we will serve as the executive branch of the tribe, approving proposals and making executive decisions. We don't want to be the only ones in charge here, so we suggest that proposals of significance must be ratified by each of the 3 chambers to ensure that the actions of the tribe are in harmony with nature, culture, and technology.
So one, as Rob said, one of our chambers is the Chamber of Nature. This chamber means a lot to me, especially as someone who loves sustainability. And the Chamber of Nature is responsible for assessing the natural impact of actions and decisions of the Sapien tribe. And those natural impacts, they can range across a wide scale from the individual to the global scale. This chamber, we want it to consider and address natural impacts from the destruction of ecosystems to climate change and pollution. So we want to address those issues. And we also want to analyze the natural impacts of the Sapien tribe on an individual level. We want to make sure that we're supporting decisions that promote human health. And so anything from the global scale with climate change to the individual with human health, we want to talk about those issues and address them in the Chamber of Nature.
Thank you, Missy. Really appreciate it. Chamber of Culture is responsible for assessing the cultural impact of actions of the tribe and driving the creation of a healthy culture within the tribe. And this chamber will help establish traditions, rituals, and relationships that are crucial for the growth and cohesion of the tribe and the community that we're creating. And the Chamber of Culture is focused on understanding the nature of social dynamics and the tribe itself, and we'll analyze the most important elements within the social fabric so that we can secure the community that we're creating. Ankit, do you want to speak to the technology?
Sure. Yeah, the final, the 3rd chamber is the Chamber of Technology. And, we know since the discovery of fire, how critical technology has been to the evolution of our species. And, just like fire, if we don't know how to wield it well, it can burn us. And we've all seen this from the past, couple years, past decade, how, when we don't really have control of technology, things can really go haywire. And it was something that really motivated us to push and drive with Sapien since the beginning. So this Chamber of Technology really will be focused on assessing the technological impact and the viability of these proposals that we will be discussing in the Sapien tribe. We'll be looking at internal initiatives as well as external proposals submitted by the tribe members, as well as sort of a deeper focus on the purple paper and the token primitives that we're outlining. Of course, we all know a lot of this is being built on the blockchain, so we'll be sort of assessing the sustainability of that tech, and we'll be pushing towards making sure that we're not leaving a massive carbon footprint with what we're doing with Sapien. So really, we're thinking of this both in terms of short and long-term risk assessment on technologies that we're developing as a nation. So that'll be our focus.
Thanks, Ankit. And each of these chambers can't really be truly understood in isolation because of all the interdependencies between them. And there may also be issues that can't be cleanly categorized. So to this end, we're proposing the creation of an additional chamber, the Chamber of Sapiens, whose focus is on synthesis of the discussions within the above chambers to uncover and understand the interrelations. And as part of this commitment to synthesis, the Chamber of Sapiens will strive and be responsible for ensuring to the best of their ability that the actions of the tribe are understood by all members of the tribe. Additionally, the Chamber of Sapiens will be focused on discussing and reviewing the rights and responsibilities of sapiens outlined in the Declaration of Sovereignty. And finally, we propose the formalization of the Metaparliament, which will be a chamber focused on improving the internal operations of the government of the Sapien tribe. And the Metaparliament will be responsible for analyzing and understanding modes of governance that may be effective within the tribe and proposing suitable implementations. And these proposals may be approved or rejected by the council. And that concludes this motion for the initial governance model of the tribe.
Awesome. Thank you, Rob. And the final motion that we'll be presenting today is the motion for liquid citizenship via NFT passport. So what we'll be doing here is opening up a liquid market for citizenship using our NFT passports. We'll be issuing a batch of 1,500 passports to be distributed in two ways, 500 of which will be nominated by the team and community to distribute to leaders, nonprofits, change makers, sense makers, people that will really trailblaze this first sovereign digital nation. The process for nomination we will make public as well for some of the passports, and everything will be announced on our social channels like Twitter, Discord, for transparency. 1,000 will be allocated for the public sale, which right now is scheduled for February 28th, in which 1,000 passports will be issued for 0.25 ETH each. And the groups will be split into 3 purchase groups, starting with the Sapien V2 users, so the people that have been with us since the beginning, the nation builders, which are active in growing our Discord, and finally the sense makers and the creators. At the end, the apes will have an opportunity to make the final purchase, and that role is pretty easy to get. You just have to drop a banana in our Discord. The whitelist information can be viewed in Whitelist Guide, and the contest details are in the Contest Guide channel. Again, the goal of this whitelist is to really spark meaningful conversation in the tribe, and of course, making sure that we're doing our best job that we can to give passports to the most engaged citizens. So just as a reminder again, what this passport really entails, it'll give each holder the opportunity to pick a photo of one of their favorite historical figures to mint a one-of-one NFT and add to a bespoke sort of limited art collection that's been generated with machine learning. You can see many of the avatars that the team members in the community have started to don. And then you'll get early access to the Sapien protocol and powerful utilities, as well as become a founding member of the Sapien tribe when you sign your passport. So this novel concept of liquid citizenship, the way we're creating this is by having these NFTs tradable on secondary marketplaces, and the fact that these passports can be signed or unsigned. So to begin with, they are unsigned, which means they're free to transfer or trade, whereas the signed passports are non-transferable and linked to a wallet address. So the passport holders will have an opportunity to sign their passports, with the Declaration of Sovereignty that Rob just finished reading. And again, this is that really seminal document outlining the rights of Sapien Tribe citizens, or later at the Constitutional Convention. And that will be a holder-exclusive event to ratify the government framework of the Sapien Tribe. Upon signature, the holder will also be able to access the additional passport utilities outlined in the purple paper and become a founding member of the Sapien Tribe. And that concludes the third and final motion for today. All right,
And
so
time to open the floor. Anyone have any questions, anything that they want to contribute? Now's the time.
Yeah, so at this moment you can request to speak. In addition, in the Chamber of Sapiens channel, you can drop some questions or comments there too that our team can answer or address.
Kurt. Justin, ready? Hey, Kurt.
Awesome. First of all, awesome first, I guess speech. Hopefully you'll have many more opportunities to tell the world again. But I had a question about the signing. After you sign, you'll never be able to transfer it again. That sounds like risky, right? Question end.
It's a good question. Risky in what sense, Kurt? You can probably dive into a little bit more if you want.
Well, people who are buying these passports might want to sell it in the future. So if they sign it, they can't sell it again. But if they don't sign it, they're not a founding member. So that's to me, that sounds really cool in a way, because that's what I would want. As far as people buying them, they may not want to sign it, because they might want to sell those in the future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the signing part is optional here, right? Really, we do want people to really think about this decision, right? And it is the decision, you just outlined it, right? So either they choose to hold on to their passport and, just treat it like any other token, or sign it, right? Just like your real passport. And at that stage, it is linked to your account, because it wouldn't really make sense if you're signing it and then also like being able to transfer it, right? You can't really do that with your real passport. So
yeah, in this case, it'd be more like signing a baseball card for people who are like collecting NFTs. I like the idea. I just wonder that like the people who are signing it and really committing to the nation,
Mhm.
they are, I don't want to say penalized, but the people who aren't committing, they're the ones that will be, being able to make some kind of profit. And I just wonder about the secondary market ramifications of signing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a something we've been thinking about a bit. Rob, I see you're unmuted too.
Yeah. So this is one of the main reasons that we made the passports transferable to begin with. It's to create this market incentive for participation. We really want people to feel that they value participation within the tribe more than the economic value of trading the passport itself. And just creating the market is a way to get the passports out there. And this decision is the main reason that we're implementing this mechanism, so that people that are participating are committed to the long-term growth of the tribe.
And if they don't sign, they have a lot of benefits that aren't granted to them.
Correct. They won't have access to the benefits of being a founding member.
Yeah, I mean that's. I almost. It's risk, but I support it. It's cool. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out.
Yeah, I will say one more thing. Of course, it's at the tribe's discretion if we want to give any variation NFTs. It's something we've discussed in the past, but that would also be an option, right? Perhaps the founding members would also receive some additional NFT upon signing. But we want this passport mechanism to be solid, and really the purpose behind this is that liquid citizenship, right? And this mechanism is one of the best ways to do it.
Yeah, basically you're saying I'm in forever, and I'm not fucking selling.
Yeah, it's the epitome of diamond hands. You're citizen.
What about some kind of I don't know, some kind of yield like the apes or the Bored Apes are going to do soon? Like staking your NFT for a yield.
Happy to hear a proposal from you, Kurt.
I'll have to do some research, but
yeah, these are exactly the type of things we want the community to bring up and for us to talk about.
Right, because if you have a lot of value, like eventually they're gonna have a lot of value locked up in these NFTs. Accessing that would be pretty cool if we could. Not 100% necessary as far as like the nation, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Rob, maybe you want to touch on the fractionalization of the TTT that goes in that direction.
Yeah, I'd be happy to get into that more. First, I'd like to see if anyone else has any questions they'd like to ask. Thanks, Kurt. Really good questions.
Yep. Thanks. I'm out.
Anyone? Any thoughts?
I see Matt in the audience. Matt,
yeah.
We're gonna call on you, man. All right, there we go. Good to see you on stage. Can't not have you part of the inaugural session.
Hey everybody! Thanks for pushing me up here. I guess something that was on my mind is a little bit what Kurt was talking about. It's an interesting mechanism where you sign the passport, and then it basically voids the transferable status of the NFT. And so I guess at the time of signing, you would have to make the decision, assuming there's a liquid market for the passports. You'd have to make this decision between, do I want the money, that I could get from this, which could support me economically in a lot of different ways, or do I want the rights and benefits and privileges of being a member of the Sapien tribe? So anyway, I was just thinking about that, and I'm wondering, if the incentives are not monetary, then what exactly do you get, by being a member of the tribe? I mean, is it simply just voting rights? Or is it in the Declaration of Sovereignty, it says things like each Sapien has the right to a home, and shelter and stuff like that. But it's is the tribe going to provide homes to people, or so is that one of the benefits? Or I guess right now all of this is kind of very preliminary and not defined. And so I guess at this time it's hard to make that decision. But yeah, is it, I guess there's a question in here somewhere. Is it is there, can you speak a little bit more about what the benefits of being a tribe member will be, kind of on a more concrete level?
Yeah, that's a good question, Matt. So I'll speak a little bit to the concrete side, and then Rob, maybe you can touch a bit on the rights and maybe how we see that evolving. But in terms of the concrete benefits, the Passport is the tool to access the utilities that we outlined in the purple paper, right? So everything around what we want to construct it with it as an access control mechanism, as a social ledger, as a form of identity to be used in digital and physical spaces, all that will only work in its signed state, right? Because you can't really have a social ledger and have the passport also be transferable. That wouldn't make any sense, right? You want to have some this address has been accumulating, whatever contributions and achievements, and it needs to be linked to a single address. So that only makes sense in the signed state. Same thing with identity, right? Like if you can just kind of move it around, then you can't really build, your story, right? Your identity, if it's just changing addresses and whatnot, that would be a little bit confusing as well. So we want to, at some point, not have these just at least with this initial batch, not have them sort of just be transferred around, but instead be utilized within the Sapien protocol, right? All the sort of great tools that we're building, would be available to signed passport holders first. So that's the idea with that in concrete terms.
So, in addition, one of the main benefits of being a founding member is really the ability to shape and influence the direction we're headed with all of this. Obviously, in the purple paper, we outlined pretty powerful tools, including the token, and we're going to be developing and deploying those things ourselves. And being a founding member will, you'll be in the initial circle here. You'll be able to help us figure out how we want to evolve as a tribe, what things that we should be focusing on, where we should be devoting our resources and spending our time. And some of those things, like you're talking about the declaration, some of those things might be establishing physical presence around the world, creating physical spaces for members, and using those spaces to have really tangible impacts, to do good and to build really cool things. So those are some of the main benefits.
Awesome. Well, just I should put that out there that I'm definitely not going to be selling mine, and I think this is an awesome idea. I'm just wondering about how to communicate that to others. I have some friends that bought the initial OpenSea passports, and they have questions and whatnot. So I want to be able to accurately, convey the mechanics to them. But I'm also kind of envisioning probably the passport is, it's a ledger and it's a proof of identity, and it's signifies that you're a founder of the tribe. And I would imagine all of the things that are outlined in the purple paper and the TTT and the various tokens that could potentially exist on the platform and the Sapien platform itself. There's other crypto projects that basically give some kind of, I don't know if kickbacks is the right word, but basically things to support the governance holders of the project, right? So they're kind of rewarded in some monetary way. Like I think Kurt brought up the possibility of staking, or I don't know if you could do that with an NFT, but some kind of rewards for participation that at some point would translate into some kind of monetary benefit. Do you guys have any ideas around that kind of thing? First of all, did that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense. And there's obviously a lot of directions we can go there, and we want it to be really meaningful. We don't want to incentivize people to do the wrong things. We want to be creating the right incentives and making sure that we're getting value to the right places. So there will be certainly opportunities to contribute in a lot of different ways, and those ways may very well be compensated in terms of the value added. And yeah, there's a tremendous amount of things that we want to build and a tremendous amount of value we can create. So there are a lot of opportunities coming.
Now, one quick question I have, and then I'll yield my time here. But I'm just wondering some details about the signing process. Now, when people have the opportunity to start signing the passports, is there like a certain deadline? So like you have to sign it by such and such date, or like could you wait 5 years and then sign it? Right? Like, is there any kind of restriction like that?
As far as we see, there won't be a deadline for now.
Okay. So if the secondary market for the passports is, let's say, people are paying $1 million or something for the opportunity to be a founding tribe member, you could essentially wait and outweigh the kind of cost benefit of do I want to be a member? If I see what the perks are of being a founding member, or if there's any kind of monetary benefit in that, or I still have the opportunity to, sell it on the open market since I haven't signed. So do you kind of foresee that happening with some people?
That's a really good point, Matt, actually, and that does put the onus on us as as a Sapien tribe, right, to make sure that we're well governed and the benefits that we're adding to members with signed passports outweighs whatever the market says it is, right? So actually that's a very insightful point, because that'll also encourage us to make sure that we're doing right by the members who have signed. So yeah, really appreciate that.
Cool. Awesome. Well, yeah, I don't want to take up any more time here, but this is a great idea, and I'm glad to be a part of the tribe here. Good job, everybody.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Terrence McKenna.
I need a higher pitch voice. Sorry.
All right, Tasia, welcome to the stage. What do you have to share with us?
What's up, guys? Sorry, I'm in an airport right now. I just got off a plane, so I had to miss the first inaugural session of the Parliament.
Well,
but I'm here
you're
now. So yeah, where we at? We doing AMAs right now?
Yep, the floor is open. Did anyone else have any questions? Anything else we can get into? This would be the time. We're seeing some good conversation in the Chamber of Sapien. So again, really looking forward to the community also proposing more ideas. Obviously, we've thought through some of these things, but again, we want to make this a community-run project. It's not just about what we see, but all of us. So.
Yeah, I don't want to jump in for too much longer. I just wanted to kind of bounce back off of. I'm sorry, I didn't get the other guy's name. I heard like a couple of names. But basically, when I had that idea a long time ago, I was thinking of inter-country, inter-tribe benefits of, like, if you're part of the tribe and you're abiding our doctrine, our rules, like our regulations. Like, if you're part of the tribe, basically it means like you've sort of been audited in a sense, like ethically and maybe even technologically. If you have the Sapien stamp of approval, that could be a benefit, a business benefit, and also could be inter-tribe benefit of, like, getting preferred prices from other tribe members. But yeah, just having that business, sort of like integrating business in with the tribes, tag of approval and inter-tribe discounts, I think could be benefit of the passport. But that's all I wanted to say for now. A million things to say, of course.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. Deja? You're unmuted. Oh, I was saying feel free to jump in. Yeah, Kurt, at least from my perspective, that's a right to sort of transact is retained by these sovereign tribes. So whatever benefits that one tribe wants to extend another, that's their prerogative. But this is like how the emergent economy would be built. So you're thinking in the right direction for sure.
Yeah, and I was sort of thinking of like, obviously people can do what they want, but sort of laying that groundwork and pioneering the stamp of approval. So get it in people's minds.
I think one of the other opportunities here is to contribute to this vision that we're presenting. This republic of DAOs or tribes, and having the opportunity to forge the connections and relationships that will build that value that you're talking about, Kurt. That's a huge opportunity.
Of course, yeah. Like the apes, they have their little community and they really value that. This of course would be deeper, but people just hearing that often isn't enough for some people. They want to hear like, yeah, I get it, that's gonna be a good, cool project, but where's showing the money? So if we can pioneer that for them, and I think it'd be a great idea too, just to have like an ethical code of like an ethical standard, and maybe even like a light regulatory standard that new crypto projects have to adhere to, and that like if I'm buying this coin, I know for sure that it's like ethically, environmentally secure, probably not a scam. Maybe there's some kind of approval process we can go through there, but having that stamp of approval could be really strong, and you can only get it if you have a passport.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, that's actually we touch on a little bit of that in the passport section of the purple paper, but that's exactly how we see these networks of trust being built.
Yeah.
So spot on. Neo, I see that you had your hand up, so let's invite you up on stage as well.
Hello.
What's up, Neo?
How's it going?
Pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, I really enjoyed the initial inaugural session. Yeah, I'm just the whole locking down the NFTs permanently is interesting, and you're eventually going to have maybe 0 passports available, and you'll have people who want to join Sapien on a deeper level and want to forge the new path, but all the passports are gone. So I would just be curious how you want the whole community to forge the direction, not just 1,000 people, right? So I don't know what your thoughts were on that, but like how future people, like eventually when there's 1 or 0 passports available, how future members also contribute to the direction. And there's inevitably going to be people who leave or pass away and the passports are just gone forever. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, so these are all good questions. I think the most important thing is, number one, that we are trying to scale this project in a sensible manner. So, especially given that the passport gives so much access to economic sovereignty initially, and the initial passport holders will have all the necessary tools to build a thriving community. It's important that we kind of gatekeep that a little bit at the start, right? The one thing that we wouldn't want to do is to like launch this and then everyone has access to all the passport tools and we end up with like a bunch of shit coins on the platform, right? That's not a good look for us. So we want the initial passport holders to be having meaningful contributions, which is why we have this 2-tier distribution approach, right? It's not just a sale, it's also the distribution of the passports. So that's why there's such a limited release, at least going into this, right? Because we need to shrewdly distribute these and make sure that the initial seeding of the community is is done properly and under our control, because if it's not done in a controlled manner, you open yourself to a very large risk of, bad actors essentially tainting the network.
That actually does make sense.
So in terms of how other people can get passports into the future, right? We're not limited to minting a set amount, and we're also releasing the tools for other tribes to mint their own passports, right? So, maybe you don't necessarily have a passport to the Sapien tribe, but maybe you have a passport to some other DAO, right? And that gives you whatever benefits outlined by that DAO's passport, So that's really the intent behind there, right? And again, Sapien isn't limiting itself to just the 10,000. It's only doing this as a gatekeeping effort to make sure that we don't ruin our network initially, right? Like, there are a bunch of degenerates out there who want to buy NFTs and purely make it for money, right? But those aren't going to be the guys that build the community. It's going to be the ones who have dedicated interests and want to use these DAO tools to benefit those shared interests amongst their groups of people, whatever they may be.
We want to really make sure that the community that we're building is authentic, and starting small is really the best way to do that. That we're building real connections, real community, and the people that are participating initially will have a say in how we're deciding about going about distributing further passports in the future.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I would also third the motion about you want some kind of level of, like a lot of other DAOs and other NFT projects, some sort of, I don't know, dividend or something that makes it just that next level of investment that people feel a little more comfortable versus, I don't know. So I definitely think that's also a good idea.
Well, thanks, Nia.
So that's all
Great
I
question.
had. Yeah.
Zavala got a Destiny fan in the chat. You still there, Zavala?
Okay, I am learning how to use these tools about Discord. I love this concept and this initiative that you has been building. I have a question from the point of view: what do you expect from the people that join this? How much time we should be getting involved? What is the minimum? What is the typical kind of things that you expect that the people that is getting the passport and getting involved in the community? I don't have any clue idea the expectations, and you could have it about that.
Yeah, Zaval, that's a good question. My sort of immediate response to that is it's not about the quantity of time. It really is the quality of contributions that you're making. So we basically have proposed several sort of topics and things that interest us in sort of response to the purple paper that was written. So we have all these contests that are live right now. We really are just encouraging people to spend time thinking about these things and sharing with us for discussion. But it really isn't you have to put in 8 hours a week or anything to be a citizen, right? This shouldn't be seen as work, but rather us coming together and forming a shared sort of community. So
yeah. To elaborate on that a little further, if you have a community already that you're trying to build, and we actually have people in our Discord already, such as Mark. I don't know if he's here. I don't see him here, but he wants to make a woodworking DAO, right? Because he's very passionate about woodworking. So he sees the Sapien Passport as a tool that can help augment that process of community building within, say, a woodworking tribe, right? So the intent here is that, whatever you are pursuing in your own time, the Sapien tool should be augmenting that and making it easier for you, right? If you do have a community, you do have an activity, you do have something that you're passionate about and you want to scale that out into something that people can actually spend their time doing and get rewarded for it, then you should get a Sapien passport, because it'll allow you to do that, right? It'll give you the tokenomics, etc., in order to make a thriving community.
In some sense, let me try to understand about this. Is if you would like to be the support environment for communities in some way that are already built and take advantage of the DAO kind of concept. Really, the DAO concept is still being not perfectly clear for me what that implies. I has been looking about the different tools like Aragon and all these things. I has been looking into some communities that are very much focused into NFT. And I understand that this is a working process in some way. But, I am trying to grasp what is the flavor, in the sense that, because I am involved in a lot of different kind of communities. I love collaborations, from startups creation, from diaspora organizations, like or just communities with a common interest. And each one of them has a completely different flavor and different profile in some way.
One of the main things we're looking to do is really build a community of community builders, or a DAO of DAOs, and find the value that they can bring to each other, and figure out the ways in which that maybe their interests, their values are aligned, or they can contribute to shared projects that bring value to all of them. So that's one of the main angles that we're pursuing, and it's great to hear, Zavala, that you are part of so many communities. That's awesome, and it's one of the main things that we're looking for among our founding members.
I will be glad to keep understand and how to provide some kind of help and get involved if it's the right fit. But thank you and congratulations. Really, when I got the email of invitation, I really surprised, because the concept of citizenship in the skies is. Some of you are foreigners like me. I live in California also, and the diaspora concept is sometimes is how you build your virtual country on some way, and that's a possibility. But we should keep exploring. And thank you for the effort. Looking forward to get a little bit more involved and know much more about that. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Zavala. Definitely take a chance and read the purple paper so you can get some more context, and also feel free to ask questions in the Discord so we can help clarify anything that you have questions about.
All right. Thank you.
All right, and with that, let's close out this inaugural session with closing statements. So, Rob, we'll pass it to you. If you want to start with the closing.
Yeah. Okay, I thought you had a statement on the. You wanted.
All right.
I did.
Okay. Someone had to read it.
No. There's a lot of things we went over today, so yeah, I wrote a few things too. So again, I want to thank everyone for attending. The Sapien Tribe is the first sovereign digital nation with an objective of empowering other tribes to thrive and realizing their own full potential. And we truly believe that a nation is nothing but a community of people with a shared culture and identity. And we believe now, for the first time in history, any human and every human around the world with an internet connection has the opportunity to participate in and contribute to this digitally native country, and enabling us to transcend geographical boundaries and blaze a path forward based on our shared values. So what we are doing is we're choosing to claim our own fate by declaring our sovereignty and building a future that elevates every individual and community to reclaim their own agency. So again, thank you so much for attending, and we look forward to having you at the next one.
I'll give you the green tag as you do.
Thanks,
war.
everyone.
This will be left at the end of.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. It means a lot.
See you next week.